It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for us.
Yes.
Yes.
And we are definitely feeling good. Welcome, Reverend Sheree, and welcome to all of you who are joining us online and in the sanctuary.
This week's Sharing is Caring supports the Central Texas Food Bank. 1 in every 5 Texans are hungry or at risk of going hungry. 1 in 5. Together, we can make a difference and see that our fellow citizens have enough to eat. For every share of our service on Facebook while we're live, we'll donate $5 to the Central Texas Food Bank.
We create space the first Sunday of every month to share our gratitudes together in gratitude circles led by our praying chaplains. These take place immediately following the service. If you're on campus, you can join us on the patio. If you're on our online, if you're one for a new day, a new dawn, whatever. For those who are online, join us on Zoom. The link can be found on our calendar and in the comments.
We don't always mention it, but real-time parenting takes place the first and third Sundays of every month at 8:30 p.m. via Zoom. Join them this Sunday night.
If you are interested in meditations of Dr. Joe Dispenza, we have an active group that gathers in the sanctuary the first and third Wednesdays of every month at 10 a.m. Join them for a juicy meditation this Wednesday, May 5th.
We've got a few important dates for you to save. First, Reverend Sheree's formal installation as our new minister will take place on Sunday, June 6th during the 11:25 service. There will be a celebration following the service.
Second, attorney and UCOH drummer Stephen Summer will be providing his Understanding Wills and Powers of Attorney seminar on Tuesday, June 15th at 7:30 p.m. in the sanctuary.
And finally, we are super excited to be able to offer summer camp for our kiddos. Linda Hancock is still working with her team on the details, but it will be a garden camp Tuesday, June 22nd through Thursday, June 24th from 9 a.m. to noon. And then on Sunday, June 27th, they will be out front selling their produce. So that'll be really good.
Yes, and I am part of the garden camp staff and planning, and we have some really fun stuff that is getting worked out and in the plan. So come and join us. And wait, was that actually an announcement about the garden without puns?
It was, I'm calling a cab, Beige.
Well, aren't you glad you made it through without them? Let us wrap it up.
Wait, before we close, we want to take a moment to recognize our May Volunteer of the Month, Ted Payon. Ted's a garden volunteer, and he's a big deal.
Ah, man, we didn't get away with it, did we?
Let's hear from Ted.
Well, first I want to say I'm very thankful for being the Volunteer of the Month. It's a great honor. I really believe in the fifth unity principle, and that is you put your words and thoughts into action. And that takes the first four unity principles and turns them in from a belief into faith. And volunteering is one of the ways that we can do that. The very first incarnation of UCOH, and the second week I was there, I saw Fred and Jerry stacking up the chairs after the service, and I went in and helped them. And then I became an usher. And in my usher team, I had Cliff Mark and Andy Needler, and with Mills Spangberg, we formed one of my first mastermind groups, a very powerful mastermind group. In fact, Cliff Mark is still a member of my mastermind group. I look at the teams I've been on in a way that's probably different than other people. For me, the usher team was all about hugs. I got a lot of hugs. I'm on the parking team now, and in 5 years, it's never rained on me. One time, John Boyden spelled me and let me go back in, and as soon as I got in the door, it poured on him. But it's never rained on me. Some of the other things I do, I'm a mastermind advisor. I've been active in the garden, whether it rains or shines. And I'm a Easter Bunny flapjacker. This is a team that gets together early every Easter, and we make flapjacks for the people at the sunrise service. If you want a church that reflects who you are, be a volunteer. Get out there and do something. Apply that fifth principle, and it's all the better for it.
Thank you, Ted, for your fabulous service. We love you.
And we love all of you watching this morning. Have a fabulous Sunday. Bye.
Bye.
Holy, walk with me, tear down my wall, my heart showing, worldly knowing, Christ who lives within us all. Swift winging, angels singing, bells are ringing, oh, hear the call, free from sorrow, I'll greet tomorrow, Christ who lives within us all.
No more sleeping, time for keeping peace through all the morning news. We tell a story of God's glory, a story of a gospel truth. Voices are ringing, praises singing. Hear the words. Why don't you hear the call? Free from sorrow, free tomorrow. Yeah, Christ within us, Christ within us.
The angels from glory flying over the earth. The angels from glory, they proclaim all nations come together, joining voices whole as one, and together we can shine our wondrous light, like seen lowly, Spirit holy. Hear the words, why don't you hear the call? Free from sorrow, great tomorrow, Christ within us all.
I know the angels
Christ within us. He's a teacher and a healer. Christ within us. Jesus. Christ within us.
My strong tower, my provider.
Christ within us. Oh, creator of all nations. Oh, Jesus. He's a bright and morning star. He's a bright and morning star. Christ within, Christ within, free from sorrow, to reach tomorrow. Christ within us all.
And we're waiting. We're waiting. That light is off, and we are on, absolutely on. This week we have been washed clean, have we not? And we are here on a beautiful new Sunday with some new stuff going on, but we'll get to that in a minute. So welcome. I see faces I haven't seen in a while. We are so grateful you were here this morning, and whether you are joining us right here on the pavilion or on Facebook or YouTube, we are so grateful to have you here, and we're glad you joined us for this very auspicious Sunday. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. If you're here in the sanctuary, you can speak with any of us about that, or if you are online, just type in connect, and one of our ambassadors will get back with you. Wherever you are on your spiritual path, we meet you there, and we are grateful you are here. Now, we have several praying chaplains here in the sanctuary and out there holding space for us today. They would be honored to support you in affirmative prayer, and for those of you watching from home, there's a number on your screen that you can call. Leave a message, and a chaplain will get back to you following the service. There are also chaplains, as I said, serving here. Raise your hand if you're here this morning serving. Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you, John. All right. Guess what? We are so grateful to welcome our youth education back onto the campus today. Yeah. All of them, our elementary unit teens and YRU, are in a combined class outside, and we have childcare at the playground for our younger ones. Welcome back, you guys out there. Welcome back. I saw them just a moment ago. And now let's just take a moment and connect our hearts with the kids. And we send them a blessing, just beholding the Christ that they are. And from there, let's join together in affirming our mission statement this morning. In a moment, it'll be on the screen. Together, we put God first, celebrate life, serve truth, and empower people to transform their lives. Oh, that feels so good, doesn't it? All right. And now I'd like to invite Frank Phelan, our board president, up to the platform. I think he has someone important to formally introduce to us this morning.
Good morning, Unity Church of the Hills. What a journey. What a journey it's been. I'd like to begin by thanking so many people. I'm not going to be able to name everybody because there's so many people to name that have walked this journey with us and brought us to today. But I would like to begin with our interim ministers. Steve stepping back in Braz holding a space, and most recently Reverend Eliza carrying us for the past 6 months. Such grace. We're so grateful. Unity Worldwide Ministries for their help and support and guidance. We wouldn't have had Reverend Eliza were it not for them. Dr. Reverend Roger Teal for his guidance to the board and helping us formulate the vision, helping us put together the teams that searched. The ministerial search teams, too many to name, but we've got the core candidating team, the marketing and promotion team, and the prayer and consciousness team, all who put in many, many hours, particularly the core candidating team, going through and providing such detailed information for us to be able to go through and make our assessments. To the staff, a staff that's walked through a year with many months without a senior minister, which is a very hard thing to do, and done it with grace, and really we've thrived as a result of that. To the other board members, some past and some current, there's been a lot of work that's been going on behind the scenes in preparing ourselves as a board and creating this vision, and then working with the ministerial search teams. And so it's been many, many meetings, sometimes 4 or 5 a month, which is way more than we've typically done. And I thank you to all the other board members for the time that you've spent. And then lastly, to our congregation that's held a faith, a high consciousness, and an aspirational vision. And for that confirming of that aspirational vision through your responses. So today we get to join. Today we get to join with Reverend Sheree Taylor-Jones, and we're so excited about everything that she's bringing. She's an ordained minister in 2 New Thought denominations, Unity and Religious Science. She's a qualified transitional minister. She's a certified pastoral counselor. She's a consultant, a speaker, an author. She also has a wealth of business experience in the corporate environment. But most importantly, it's her consciousness. That's the thing. She not only believes in unity principles, but embodies them. She's a practitioner, and I'm going to use her own words here. We are called to be catalysts of great change, and we embrace each person as worthy and welcomed. And so we get to embrace and welcome you, Reverend Sheree Taylor-Jones. Welcome home.
You guys are amazing. Amazing. Thank you for that warm welcome. I've never experienced the kind of love and welcome that I've experienced here in this community. When you're home, you just know it. When you're home, you just know it. And I feel like this is a time right now when our community's been in the diaspora, right? We haven't been able to be on our sacred land. And now, slowly but surely, you're coming home. You're coming home. You're coming home. And so this is a sacred time. Now you'll notice I've got one of those stole things on again, and if you weren't here last week, this signifies that this is a sacred moment with this community. It's a sacred moment. You've said yes, welcome, Rev. We want you here. And I've said yes. I can't wait to be here. Oh my gosh, that's powerful, really powerful. So if you're willing, let's pray. Let's take that breath that brings us here, that brings our thoughts, our awareness, our consciousness to this present moment. As we breathe in, we invoke the allness of the universe. We invite our ancestors. We invite those who were foundational in building this community. We invite their essence here now. As we open up in a new and profound way to being the light in the world, to being God in skin, to being the divine expression of possibilities and love and welcome and acceptance in the world. And we say yes. Feel that sacred ground. Feel that energy that just wraps around you in love and in welcome to come home. And so we release this prayer in the knowing that we are on sacred ground, that we're breathing in, coming back home, where we are spiritually fed and ready to step into that next evolution of consciousness that is ours. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. I'm supposed to stop. I forget about the lamp.
Going back, I'm moving ahead. I'm here to declare to you, my past is over in you. All things are made new. Surrendered my life to Christ. I'm moving forward. What a moment, you have brought me to such a freedom, Lord. I have found in you, you're the healer who makes all things anew. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going back, moving ahead. I'm here to declare to you, my past is over in you. All
How do you follow up after that? Whew. Thank you. Thank you, Celebration. Matt, Brian, you don't get enough recognition. Thank you very much. Thank you. Sound team, visual. It takes a village, my friends, to make us look this good. Thank you. Thank you. So there's that picture there. Isn't that a weird picture? That's a weird picture. First, the last time that I gave a talk here, it was my tryout. Kind of scary. Wow, that happened only a few weeks ago. It seems like a really long time, but it really was only a few weeks ago. And I was blown away by the energy of this community. And I got a few surprises. I got a couple of gifts, which was like really nice. And like, oh, I like that. I could get used to that. Tony on Celebration gave me this lovely, like, take care of you goodie bag. I'm like, gosh, he knows already? I'm going to need that? Yes. And then I got a lovely bunch of these beautiful petite roses from James and John. And when I want to save something like that, like for a memento, I usually put it in my Bible. I've got a confirmation Bible. I see heads going. And it's a King James version, and it's got that like really thin, onion skin kind of paper that you turn and it's got a zipper around it, so I put my keepsakes in there. So right before they were done, I took a couple, and I'm walking over, and I hear Spirit, you need to put it in Wings of Song. I rolled my eyes, yes, because that's how we roll. I rolled my eyes, and I was like, really, Wings of Song? It's not one of my favorite books. I hold it because it is a primer for unity, and it's got some really good techniques for high holy days. And I'm like, all right. So I open it up to that page. I put the flowers in it, and I had to take a picture because who believes this stuff, right? That's not real, but it was real. And so it let me know that, oh, I guess my first talk as your minister should be about unity, as well as letting you know that unity is part of my foundation. It's how I want to show up in the world. Did you know that the meaning that you make about change can make the change you're going through one that's filled with joy or filled with dread? Did you know that? I see head shaking, metaphysicians, love it. And what's interesting is that as I listened to the consciousness that is Unity Church of the Hills, I also got to listen to the meaning that was being made as I arrived to be your spiritual leader. And I got to tell you, we've got some very, very creative folks here. The meaning that we make, right? Some have interpreted me as either the Messiah arrived, the Messiah's here, not overwhelming at all, or I am here to destroy everything that you held as dear and sacred. Wow. Wow. That's huge, right? And here's the thing. I am all those things. And guess what? So are you. You are all those things. Because we know there is no thing that is not of God, right? We know that. We know that every time that we step up and talk to someone, we are either lifting up or tearing down. It's a choice that we make. So, the path of evolution of consciousness is really similar to, those 360 performance reviews. Some of you who are corporate may have heard that. Yeah, okay, and you're like, no, not the 360 review, Rev. It can't be spiritual, but it can be. The goal of that is it's a tool to allow the employee to be getting feedback from their manager, their coworkers, and their direct reports, right? That's where the 360 comes into place. And the goal of that is to seek actionable feedback to the employee and give them a better understanding of how they support the organization. So if we continue with that analogy, then how do we do our own 360 when we're looking at our evolution of consciousness? What? You mean there's work? Yeah, my friends, yeah, there's work. So the first thing that we would do is we would look at the thoughts that we have, right? Because we know that's the building block, the thoughts that we have. And then we're going to look at our behaviors, which we know is the outpicturing of what? Thoughts, right. So we're going to look at our behaviors and then see, what do other people in our lives think about those behaviors? And then we're going to say, am I being the Christ in this organization? Am I being the Christ? And from this awareness, this now allows you to do what? Create an action plan to shift to the next evolution of consciousness. There's a tool. Evolution of consciousness doesn't mean that we reside in that frequency where, you know, what was fabulous 10, 20, 30 years ago is still okay today. Because the frequency has changed, has it not? It also doesn't mean that we throw everything out and not honor our past experiences, the lessons that we learned, what brought us to this precious moment. All important. Evolution of consciousness means that we include and transcend. Then we breathe, we assess again, and then we transcend and include. So for those of you who are ready to light this community on fire, I say, yippee! You're welcome and you're necessary. And for those of you who want to go to a deeper level of meditation and deeper within, do you know what I say? Yippee! You're welcome, all are necessary. Okay? Why do I say that? I say that because all of us are necessary for this community to be whole. I believe there is enough space, there is enough love, there is enough light to hold us all. That's my understanding of this community. Now, I like that unity, unity is a noun, right? And it defines the unified state of being, the unified state of being joined as a whole. And it says that each individual member of this community is welcomed. Everyone's embraced, everyone's celebrated, everyone is honored as necessary for the whole well-being of this community. The whole well-being of this community. My friends, that's why we do the work. It's not just for us. Yes, that's nice. But it's just not for us, it's also for our community, right? My first talk with this community is what I call a credo talk. A credo talk. Credo is this. Credo is a statement of beliefs which guide someone's actions. I wanted you to know who I am. What drives me? What excites me? What's my passion? I wanted you to know all of that. That was not a mandate that said if you didn't think the same way that I thought, you didn't feel the same way that I felt, that you weren't welcomed. You know that flies against everything that we believe in unity, does it not? What it was for me was a moment where I got to be vulnerable to you and with you, where I shared my deepest desires and hopes. That's what that talk was about. And here's what I know from spiritual wisdom and from watching people who have come before me. I must be authentic and in integrity. It is foolish to put those veneers on to get people to like you. Because what happens over time is the real you shows up. And everyone is like, what? Right? They're all disillusioned. And so I didn't want that to happen to you, because here's what's happening right now. A minister and a spiritual community, it's like, oh, so we're going on a date. Ooh. And then we get engaged. So this is the engagement period, in case you're wondering. So we're engaged now, right? We said yes, we're engaged. And then we get married in a really short period of time. The wedding is June 6th. That's the installation, so just in case. Be here. So, and I don't know about you, but dating life was really interesting. How many guys did I kiss who said that they were the prince? Prince Charming. Only to discover they're a flawed human being, right? Nothing wrong with that. But they weren't my person. I wasn't in resonance with them, right? And it's so disappointing to discover that the person that you've put your hopes on, isn't who they said they were. And so I really did not want that for this community, Unity Church of the Hills. I wanted you to know what you were getting. I didn't want you to feel like, you know, when that minister presents itself as the second coming, and then you find out, oh, simply a human. And then you also find out, and I'm not in resonance with you. That's so disappointing. So yeah, I basically, opened up and shared where I am and who I am. Here's what I found out about studying ministry. I studied ministry, as Frank mentioned, transitional ministry, church governance. The most important thing about ministry is the relationship that you and I will have. That's it in a nutshell. Anything else doesn't really matter. It's the relationship that we are having together. Are you being fed? Do you feel loved? Do you feel appreciated? Do you feel seen? The ability for me to see you, to hear you, and allow your own divinity to have its way with you, is important for your spiritual development. The ability for me to see your divinity and still hold you accountable for your continued growth is vital to the well-being of this community. Are you seeing this? Of this community. And finally, your ability to see me, hear me, accept my visions, my dreams, my humanity, that allows me to continue in my spiritual evolution. What we're talking about, my friends, we are talking about resonance, frequencies. That's what we're talking about. So, what happens when we are in that field of love and acceptance? What do you think grows? More love and acceptance. That's what grows. Right? In a spiritual marriage, what it is, it's about seeing the truth, the aspects, all aspects of who we are. The great stuff, the good stuff, the kind of like, mediocre stuff, and the yikes, what were you thinking moments as well, right? But we do that and we hold all of that with grace. With grace, my friends. Not holding each other in judgment and condemnation, because that's not what we want to grow. We want to grow love. We want to grow acceptance. Grace, there's a lovely definition for grace. Okay. My husband tells me, stop moving your hands when you've got the clicker. Do I listen? Grace is the free and unmerited favor of God. And as metaphysicians and spiritual practitioners, what do we know? We know that we are God in skin. We are God in skin. So imagine if we held each other in favor. What? Held each other in favor without being something that they have to be earned, or you have to see it my way. You know, I think that if we were able to be with each other in grace, we would have these amazing conversations, right? Without making meaning and without becoming polarized in our identities. Imagine someone actually coming up to me and asking me, so Rev Sheree, what are you thinking about social action or social justice? What? You want to have a conversation with me because you're holding me in grace, right? In favor. So instead of making meaning or the assumptions of what that means, we're now getting down to business. We're having that delightful, juicy conversation of what it means. And you would find out that social action is simply a byproduct of being the Christ. What? Yeah. It's a byproduct of being the Christ. Simple. And I would share with you that if the frequency and consciousness of the Christ is love and oneness, then that would require us to love everyone, to see everyone, to know each person is an aspect of God. You would discover that this is not an intellectual discourse for me. That's not what this is about. It would require us to do something if we see someone in distress. So if God needs food, love, clothing, compassion, care, empathy, then being the Christ requires me to do what? To feed, to clothe, to love, to listen, to give grace to God. You see, being the Christ is not mindfulness. Oh, now she's gone off the rails, right? Being the Christ is not mindfulness. We practice mindfulness so that we can serve other people. That's why we practice mindfulness. It's not the end goal, my friend. It's a step two. I feel like we're having church up in here today. Let me just say that. Being the Christ is not saying, oh, we are all one. No, being the Christ means that we are living and acting from oneness, to consciously lift up each person that we meet, that we talk to, that we connect to. Being the Christ does not mean simply saying, I'll hold you in prayer. Now, we know prayer is powerful. We do know that. But being the Christ means that we hold the person in prayer and do something to support them, whether they're in difficulty or joy. Do something to support them. And when we choose to assist someone, now here's the thing, it doesn't mean that they better do it our way. They better see it our way. That's the only way they can do it if I'm going to help them. Well, no, it doesn't mean that. It means that we give something, it's theirs, and we release all expectations, all outcomes of that. There's no strings or judgment attached. I'm sometimes baffled with us in unity. Some of us are opposed to helping people. And yet we use Jesus as our way shower. And I got to tell you, Jesus was a badass. And I'm using, it's a defined word. It's a defined word, right? And it says, I make myself funny. Okay. It says to be tough, uncompromising person. Jesus was a badass, right? He didn't say, I hope you feel better. I hope you find some food to eat. Oh, I hope you find peace now that your loved one has died. No! Jesus healed the sick. He fed the hungry. He raised the dead. He didn't say, oh, poor Lazarus. He said, Lazarus, right? Lazarus, do you hear me? Lazarus, we've got work to do. That's the Christ. And we are all capable of that, my friends. We are all capable of that. Jesus called out injustices and hypocrisy. He overturned tables. He refuted idols. Yes, Jesus did separate from the masses. He went away. He meditated, right? He connected with God with the allness so that he was filled up to come out and do more miracles. That's the purpose. That's the purpose. And when he was doing those miracles, he didn't condemn folks. He didn't say, you need to get a job. Why aren't you working? He didn't say that, right? How could you die on me? Don't you know better? He didn't say that, right? We know the verse. Ye without sin cast the first stone, right? When the people were trying to stone to death the woman that was an adulterer, he did not have judgment. He just helped them. And then from our continued conversation, you would know that social action can be as simple as sending a gift, a call, a text, love to someone who may have lost someone, who may feel lost. That's social action. Or social justice can be as huge as ending injustice systems and creating new ones that treats everyone fairly. It all depends on you, my friends. What's your purpose? Why did you say yes to incarnating here now? What's yours to do? And this just isn't about Christology. Christology is the study of the Christ. It's not just that. There are many faiths that believe in social action. The Buddhists, they have a required action called a dana. And this concept includes sharing and selfless giving without anticipation of return to the giver. Zakat, the third pillar of the Islam faith. Compulsory giving to those Muslims whose incomes are at a particular level. It's considered a purifying tax. Jewish people have an obligation to perform charitable works known as tzedakah. The Sikh community, they have this wonderful kitchen called the langar. You ever have an opportunity to partake, it's profound. Everyone is welcome. You sit on the floor, the meal is dished out, and they incorporated that to shatter the barriers of caste and class. So yeah, I have a vision. My vision is that we change the word unity from a noun to an action verb, right? So you want to be in that state of being united and joined as a whole? Then do an action to unify. Love someone, care for someone, listen to someone. There's so many people that are lonely that just want to be listened to. Give money to the homeless. And when you give that money, bless them. Don't go, why are you on the side of the road? Bless them. If that's yours to do, bless them. Release it without expectations. Hold someone in grace, not judgment. And when you interact with someone, whoever they are, treat them as if they are God in skin, because that's what they are. Let's prepare for meditation. Take that nice deep breath in and exhale. Allow your spine to be erect. Allow your feet to be planted on the ground, allowing Mother Earth to support you as you feel this energetic shift through you. Imagine the stars in the heavens and beyond. Imagine a light and energy so pure, waiting for you. And as you look up, you breathe in that energy and you allow it in to transform you, to awaken you, to shift your frequency to love and acceptance. Take a breath. Breathe that in. Allow that pure white energy of love, of bliss, of possibilities to envelop you. And allow that energy to flow through you and into Mother Earth, renewing her as well. Feel that power within you. You are awakening in a new and profound way. I invite you to listen in the silence for you. And at the sound of my voice, bring your consciousness, your awareness back to this space as you take a moment of thanksgiving for hearing, for feeling, for being. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale. You may want to move your fingers or your toes, maybe stretch out a little bit, open your eyes, and be renewed, be reborn. I see it. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Sheree. Thank you for saying yes to being a part of this congregation. Thank you. This morning at our pray-in before the service, one of the words that stuck out in her prayer was the word juicy. And then during the announcements, Tim said juicy. And then during your message, the word came out again, juicy. So my thoughts are this church is juicy with possibilities. This church is juicy with potential and growth and time for change. So it is now time to let that juice flow back into this congregation. So if you are all now juiced up and ready to pour out, not concentrated, but 100% pulp-free juice, it is time for our offering. And you can do so by texting to UCOH at 77977. You can do also online at the web or Facebook by the UCOH app. You can mail a check. And for those of us here, the juice can flow at the back of the congregation in the baskets on your way out. Once again, not concentrated. We want nothing but pulp-free, pure juice flowing through this congregation from now until forever. Amen? Amen. So let us give our offering prayer. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I circulate, and I am grateful and quite juicy.
Hold on, my brother, don't give up. Hold on, my sister, just look up. There is a master plan in store for you. I know you'll make it through. God's gonna really blow your mind. He's gonna make it worth your time. For all of the troubles you've been through, a blessing double just for you. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Hold on, my brother, don't give up. Hold on, my sister, just look up. There is a master plan in store for you. I know you'll make it through. God's gonna really blow your mind. He's gonna make it worth your time. For all of the troubles you've been through, the blessings double just for you. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Today is the first day of the best days of your life. Today is the first day of the best days of your life. Today is the first day of the best days of your life. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. You
Come on up here.
Okay.
You know, as we were coming up here, Reverend Sheree said, I feel like I'm in a disco up in here. I said, just another Sunday at Unity Church.
Great.
Yeah. We are so grateful you're here. You're miraculous. You're amazing. You're wonderful. Mm.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you.
You
Can I
can't
go now?
yet. No, you can't go yet. Don't forget, we have the Gratitude Circle with the praying chaplains following the service, either on the patio or on Zoom. And most importantly, if you would like to visit and meet up with Reverend Sheree, she'll be on the pavilion following service. And don't y'all go interrupting her on her way out there either. I know how you can be. And if you would, Reverend Sheree, close us out with a prayer for protection.
Sure.
Everyone.
The light
Light
of God surrounds us.
The
The
love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us.
The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Have a blessed week, everyone.
So I should head out there? Okay.
Good morning and welcome to our announcements for the first week of May.
We create space the first Sunday of every month to share our gratitudes together in gratitude circles led by our praying chaplains. These take place immediately following the service. If you're on campus, you can join us on the patio. For our online congregants, join us on Zoom. The link can be found on our calendar and in the comments.
Wondering how to apply the spiritual truths of the Unity movement and the 3 simple steps of the language of listening to raise confident children regardless of circumstances? We don't always mention it, but real-time parenting takes place the first and third Sundays of every month at 8:30 p.m. via Zoom. Join them this Sunday night.
If you are interested in meditations of Dr. Joe Dispenza, we have an active group that gathers in the sanctuary the first and third Wednesdays of every month at 10 a.m. Join them for a juicy meditation this Wednesday, May 5th.
Juicy meditation. All
Mm.
right. All right.
Sounds good.
Today, we've got a few important dates for you to save. First, Reverend Sheree's formal installation as our new minister will take place on Sunday, June 6th during the 11:25 service. There will be a celebration following the service.
Second, attorney and UCOH drummer Stephen Summer will be providing his Understanding Wills and Powers of Attorney seminar on Tuesday, June 15th at 7:30 p.m. in the sanctuary. The seminar is offered on a love offering basis, and the RSVP link is already on our calendar. I've taken this workshop myself, and I encourage you all to attend.
And finally, we are super excited to be able to offer summer camp for our kiddos. Linda Hancock is still working with her team on the details, but it will be a garden camp Tuesday, June 22nd through Thursday, June 24th from 9 a.m. to noon. And then on Sunday, June 27th, they will be out front selling their produce. So that'll be really good.
Yes, and I am part of the garden camp staff and planning, and we have some really fun stuff that is getting worked out and in the plan. So come and join us. And wait, was that actually an announcement about the garden without puns?
It was, I'm calling a cab, Beige.
Well, aren't you glad you made it through without them? Let us wrap it up.
So,
No.
Wait, before we close, we want to take a moment to recognize our May Volunteer of the Month, Ted Payon. Ted's a garden volunteer, and he's a big deal.
Ah, man, we didn't get away with it, did we?
Let's hear from Ted. I'm sure he's got a pickle.
Well, first I want to say I'm very thankful for being the Volunteer of the Month. It's a great honor. I really believe in the 5th unity principle, and that is you put your words and thoughts into action. And that takes the first 4 unity principles and turns them in from a belief into faith. And volunteering is one of the ways that we can do that. The very first incarnation of UCOH. And the second week I was there, I saw Fred and Jerry stacking up the chairs after the first, or after the service. And I went in and helped them. And then I became an usher. And in my usher team, I had Cliff Mark and Andy Needler. And with Mill Spangberg, we formed one of my first mastermind groups, a very powerful mastermind group. In fact, Cliff Mark is still a member of my mastermind group. I look at the teams I've been on in a way that's probably different than other people. For me, the usher team was all about hugs. I got a lot of hugs. I'm on the parking team now, and in 5 years, it's never rained on me. One time, John Boyden spelled me and let me go back in, and as soon as I got in the door, it poured on him. But it's never rained on me. Some of the other things I do, I'm a mastermind advisor. I've been active in the garden, whether it rains or shines. And I'm a Easter Bunny flapjacker. This is a team that gets together early every Easter, and we make flapjacks for the people at the sunrise service. If you want a church that reflects who you are, be a volunteer. Get out there and do something. Apply that fifth principle, and it's all the better for it.
Thank you, Ted, for your fabulous service. We love you.
And we love all of you watching. See you on Sunday. Bye.
Bye.